Hey guys, Wave Rider here with LEGO Transformers Lumen. Now, Lumen here is a interesting design. He transforms into a kind of stage light, a bit of an awkward one, but I feel like I managed to get all of the details in still. So this is the main light part, and it's mostly just a stand. He's got the 4 legs, so it can actually stand, but then also some extra supports back here, and then like a little computer screen. Yes, this probably isn't what a stage light controls would look like, but it kind of looks cool anyway, so I think it's cool. I think it's definitely an unorthodox transformation, and you can probably see like where the basics of it are going to come from, but I still think it's an interesting enough design. Move on to size comparison. First of all, take a look at him with his teammate, Axel. You can see he's taller, but not longer. Obviously, I don't think the scale is perfect, but for this world, where I'm definitely trying to mix I'm trying to do is kind of mix some better transformations, but with the classic G1 style. So it's like I feel like this you could call these designs like partway between G1 style and movie style. So I think for this world, these look fine. Obviously, you wouldn't have such a bright orange and yellow color scheme on a stage light either, but I wanted him to have more color than just gray. Even though he still has a lot of gray and black in him, I wanted to do that. Anyway, moving on from Axel, this is not his video. You can take a look at him with Batman. You can see he's probably a little bit too tall, even though Batman could still use the control pad quite well, like so, but whatever. And finally, for size comparison, as a smaller build, here he is with Tug-a-Tag. Cool. That's about it. So now we can just get on to transformation. Now, his transformation is definitely kind of weird and unorthodox, just like the rest of him, and it does use one thing that some people may consider cheating, but we'll leave that for later. To start, we'll deattach this and just kind of fold it up out of the way. Then we can come here, just pull these on out, like so, just on these clips here, and these will be his feet. Next, we're going to want to stand him up and deattach the light from one of these arms, and just fold them up out of the way. Next, we can come to the chest and rotate it. It's just on a 2x2 with a stud in the middle, and just rotate the chest, which will reveal the eye. Now we're almost done. Next, come to these back legs. You're going to fold the top 2 over his shoulders. The next 2 just as flat onto his back as they'll go. And next, we'll come over with this and attach it here like so. Fold it out and deattach it from there. Is this cheating? Probably, but it's the only way I could think to get a seamless arm attachment without it just sticking out the side. Anyway, next, you'll attach that tube just onto his arm like so. Situate his cannon arm. Situate his other arm, and just fold down his skeletal arm. Then if we get him standing, which can be an issue sometimes, there we have Lumen in his robot mode. Now, I still think Lumen looks quite good in his robot mode. Obviously, as you know, Sickle was sort of supposed to be a version 2 of my original Transformer Axel, Sickle, my first Lego Transformer, who also transformed into a motorcycle. And with this design, I was really trying to emulate my second Lego Transformer, who I believe was named Rax, and transformed into like one of those like robot arms that builds cars. Except I thought about it and I didn't really want that for this version, and I decided to go with a stage light and change his name to Lumen because Rax doesn't really fit anymore, obviously. Um, my main idea for this design was a robot that mostly transformed into a little box with the arm sticking out the top connecting to the light because and then like the light becomes like a giant cannon as his arm. I figured if there is or was or will be a stage light transformer, you would assume the stage light itself would become a bulk of the transformation. But I thought it'd be interesting instead of giving him weapons, just giving him a literal giant blaster arm. Now, if you really wanted to, you could take off that light piece and replace it with a missile like piece, like so. And then he's like firing missiles at his enemies. I don't have like a blast effect piece nearby to show that off, but you get what I mean. And I imagine he can do that where he just like instead of a bunch of technical bits inside of here, it's just like filled with weapons. So it's like you can just swap out the light with missiles and guns and bullets, laser rays. You know what I mean. So I think that looks quite good. But reattach the light, as I also imagine you can shoot like a blinding beam of light from this, or even just like a yellow laser blast. And overall, I think he looks quite good. Go on to size comparison real quick. His cannon arm does make him hard to stand, so I'm just going to hold on to his arm like so. Here he is with his teammate slash general, Sickle, or Axel. Now I have myself tripping over the names. Here is Axel and Lumen. Whoa. They look quite good at the scale. I like that even though they were like a similar-ish size when transformed, now this dude is like obviously the one in charge. He's much taller. Not that he's actually the tallest member of the team, but I don't think the tallest member will come off as the leader for reasons you'll see later. We also take a look at him with a minifigure. He's still pretty big, but not the biggest. And finally, here he is again with Togetic. I don't know why I keep doing Pokemon size comparisons. Maybe it's just I still want to keep these guys relevant even through all the changes, but let's be honest, who cares? We'll show Dragonite with next week's build. Anyway, now we can move on to articulation. His legs are both the same. There's a joint at the top, and there's a joint at the ankle or knee. It's kind of weird. It's like he has a small lower leg or just a weird foot twist. It doesn't really matter. You can get him into a kind of kicking pose by like de-transforming him, I guess. Like Karate Kid up on the rocks. If that's not from Karate Kid, the comments are gonna hate me. I like how his legs look. Like I like he still has the control panel on one leg, but not on the other. Maybe it would have made more sense if it was on the other one, and then he could like still like type in passwords into his leg. But that would be weird. So why would he do that? His head does not move. It's kind of just a one eye. Originally, he did have a head. It just kind of stuck out the top a little weirdly. And I decided if I wanted to kind of imitate Rax, then I think the one-eyed look works quite well. I just moved it from like the middle of his body way more up. You can position the shoulder pads if you want to move the shoulders, but they're not going to go that high anyway, and they kind of move on their own, so you don't have to mess with these. As I said, the shoulders have a ball joint in there, so they can go all the way around. Pretty far down, though that looks awkward, and then pretty far up. And then for this arm, he has a joint back here, but if you bend it back too far, it looks awkward, so I prefer to keep it down here. And then just kind of a double elbow, where it's like two different twistable joints in there, so you can make his arm look kind of awkward. I usually prefer to keep that one bent, this one straight. And he still has this control panel on his arm too, so I imagine like if he had better articulation, or like if he was animated and had better articulation, he'd be like searching up passcodes or whatever on here, because he's supposed to be the brains of the team. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I haven't really made lore videos yet, but we'll get to that. The other arm is the same in there, and this also has a ball joint, but sometimes this tube can limit it, but I think it's better than the tube just flailing out the back. But I do also like to imagine he could like use this tube. It's like, it's not a tube, it's supposed to be like a wire, so like he can like plug in and like download something or hack something like R2D2, but he doesn't have to. That's kind of just a storage place. And overall, I think he looks quite good. Take a look at his back. It's pretty flat, but obviously there's nothing really I would need to put back there. It's kind of just the bottom of the thing. But so far, I would say, I guess this is kind of up to you guys, but I would say that right now I am 2 for 2 on Transformers without any kibble. Like, obviously, you could say these are kibble, but I kind of like to imagine it as his jetpack, so, I mean, did I just come up with that to say it's not kibble? You'll never know. These ones are shoulder pads, they're definitely necessary, so, I don't think he has any kibble. I show you the use for the wire, so, I think, overall, no matter what you think, he is quite good. I don't know why I did that. I like the color scheme. I wanted to go with orange. I found a lot of orange pieces, but obviously not the right pieces, so he still has some yellow mixed in. And I like the green eye. The green eye was something I did early on, back when he had a head, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to keep that. It looks quite good. Overall, I think that's about it for Lumen. He does not have any weapons besides the missile I showed you earlier. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing how to build videos, because the last one didn't do super great, and I built it wrong actually, so I should probably go delete that and maybe upload a new version. But yeah, I totally built the arms wrong, so it cannot transform. I don't know if I mentioned that. So I don't know if I'm going to keep doing tutorials. If people actually ask for them, I'll bring them back, but I'm probably going to delete the last one and maybe remake it. Depends. Tell me down below, do you guys want instructions or not? Also mention, I'll probably do a lore video sometime on Axel and Lumen, and next week's build, who I will not reveal the name for because I'm not 100% sure on the name yet. Also, I haven't built him, but I have a basic idea. I just still haven't had the parts show up. So if the pieces don't show up in time, next week's video may be delayed. But if they do show up by next week and I get him done, then I will obviously have it ready. I should have time to build it next week, so hopefully I get a video out. Anyway, you guys don't care. This has been Wave Rider, signing off.